I'm so excited. I'm so excited. You've been so enthusiastic about the book from the very beginning. So it's such a pleasure to be on your channel.
Jennifer, I really appreciate you are here with us to talk about women in chess and especially about your book. That's a very good book, really, because I think there are a lot of good things in it. But we will start in the beginning, saying, "Who are you?" Yeah, and I suppose that I saw many interviews with you, and I realized that you have so many activities and it's so hard to define you. So I decided to ask you, how do you like to be presented? Like a chess player, a poker player, an author? How do you feel who you are?
I think at my core, I'm a writer and a games player. So
Game.
those are like these two sides of me, my artistic side and then also my competitive side. And it's true that it gets complicated because in addition to that, I also am very, very passionate about female empowerment and working with girls and coaching. So yeah, I've got a lot of different sides, and luckily, that really helps, I think, with my writing because it all ties into like the experiences that inform the work.
Yeah, I can. And I suppose that after Queen's Gambit, it's so much easier saying that you are a chess player. Like people know, you are a chess player. I know what it means. Because before you have to explain, like, what is it? What is to be a chess player? What you are talking about? And now, in a way, we people know what we are talking about when you say that I'm a chess player, I'm a competitive chess player. I've been 2 times US champion, so it's easier to people understand what you're talking about, right?
Yeah, it's amazing. I mean,
Yeah,
I remember when I used to write about chess, I would have to define like really basic terms because otherwise people wouldn't understand them.
yeah,
But so many people have watched The Queen's Gambit that you don't really need to explain to somebody what an opening is in the same
yeah,
way that you might have had to 15 years ago. And I think that's actually one of the things about The Queen's Gambit that was the most magnificent, that
yeah, for
even
sure.
as the show fades from people's memories, like they have that kind of like little bits of chess literacy. Like they know that you should never play the Carol Khan when you could play the Sicilian.
This is the close Sicilian, like it's a very everybody knows what is a close Sicilian, even though they don't know what Sicilian is. Yeah, it's very, very nice. And you wrote 3 books, right? And that one, Chess Queens, is the last one. And what is the connection between them? Like, how do you see this connection from the chess bit? It was the first one, 2005, right?
Yeah.
And then Play Like a Girl, 2011. Yeah. And that one. What's the relation between them?
Well, I think that Chess Queens is the one that I'm currently most proud of because I just finished it and I'm out there promoting it. It really, I think, takes both the wisdom that I've gained from kind of like seeing the promotion of chess and working with girls, and then also the exuberance that I really felt as a kid getting into chess, that kind of coming of age story. So I tried to bring both of those worlds in. Chess Bitch was really a precedent to Chess Queens because a lot of the book was based on it. And then Play Like a Girl was more of like a workbook. So a way for coaches, if they want to add more games from female players into their lesson plans. There were a lot of tactics and games from women in that book. By the way, Chess Queens also has an appendix at the end, which is directing you to a library of games on chess.com.
Yeah,
So
that's super
there's
nice idea. Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah. So you can access the QR. So when you got this QR, you have access to the chess.com library. Yeah, with the games. It's a lot of games there, good ones. Yeah.
Yeah, probably. There's it's basically games that were like really explicitly mentioned in the text.
Yeah.
So, I wouldn't put like every game of a world championship match, but if I talk about a specific game, I tried to put it there. So that it just so that people who love chess could follow them. But I also didn't want to add a ton of diagrams to the book because I wanted everybody to be able to enjoy it, even
Yeah.
if they didn't know chess and they couldn't read chess notation.
Yeah. I think that was a very smart decision because I have this feeling like if someone it's not like I'm interested about chess, maybe because I watch Queen's Gambit. I don't know exactly why, but I'm interested about it, and especially about the women presence in this community. And I can read the book, and it will be very empowering, because we have this historical data, and we have this personal data, like the life, how are these champions, how it they look like, like it's very very nice. And I think that's a good way to introduce people to our world, like chess world. Like it was very nice to see some personal aspects. You interview a lot of people, right? To write this book.
Yeah, and I was lucky because I also had so much access to players from my own career of playing them. So even when I didn't interview them, sometimes I had a memory from a game I played against women. And yeah, that access was so tremendously useful to writing a book that would be useful for, this generation and future ones, I hope as well. I
Yeah.
want to, I read it, a lot of writers say this, but I really wanted to write a book that would have helped me when I was a little girl.
Yeah.
And you mentioned that you wish you had had a book like this growing up, and I
Exactly.
felt the same way. So that is why I wrote it.
Yeah, yeah, no, exactly. I think that's very, and I think that if it's like a suggestion to translate for Spanish at least, because it will be more accessible for everybody. It could be a good idea.
Thank
And
you. Yes,
yeah,
we have some inquiries. So I
yeah.
hope I think Spanish is like on the top of the list.
Yeah, of course, because
Yeah.
it's like a so including for our sales in US, like in Spanish, it's a very common language in US. A lot of people speaking Spanish. It's the second non-official language of US. Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
Exactly. I love Spanish. I speak a little bit of Spanish and I used to speak more. But one fun thing is that as I wrote in the book, I really fell in love more deeply with chess, partly because of my first international chess trip to Brazil. So
yeah.
that's another reason why it made me so excited to hear that you liked the book and that you wanted to interview me, because I really feel like so much of my origin story as a chess player and even as an artist, because as I write in the book, I really felt like the way that Brazilians lived was so inspiring to me because it was so different than
Yeah.
my life
Could
in
you tell
the
this
United
story
States.
for us, for who don't know about the book? But that's for me, it was a surprising, like, wow, Brazil, that's very nice because you wrote that Brazil was a very formative experience. It's a strong affirmation, Like, could you talk about it? Where did you go to Guarapuava, right?
Yes, I went to Guarapuava and I was a bit surprised by the invitation because, United States, such a big country. I wasn't that strong and I didn't expect to get such an invitation, but I think it was held like around a holiday and most of the other girls didn't want to play for whatever reason. So I got the invite and my family came, my father and my brother. My brother is a chess champion, so is my dad. And we just had such a ball, especially my brother and I remember we would like play basketball and soccer at high schools, and there was discos every single night and picnics and in
These good
in the United
vibes from
States.
Brazil,
Yeah,
yeah.
I had never gone to like a nightclub or a discotheque in the United States. No, that wasn't going to happen for many, many years. You know, I was 15 or yeah, I was
15,
15
yeah.
years old, and my eyes were really open. And one of the things I remember very clearly was I fell in love with the music, the Brazilian music, the Latin music, and I didn't really learn to dance well ever, sorry. But I did I did learn to love the music. I mean, the passion
Yeah.
was there. It's just my feet never really move in the right way.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, yeah. No,
But
but it's very curious that it happened in Brazil, right? It was a world young championship,
yes,
right?
World Youth Championship. So at
Yeah,
the same time as I was having an amazing time on the dance floor and the basketball court, I was also really deepening my love for chess because I scored so many upsets in that tournament. Even though I was not one of the higher ranked players, I
yeah,
remember in the very first round, I beat a girl from Brazil, and that was cool because everybody was rooting against me. But
yeah.
I got it. And then in a very early round, I also beat somebody who I really looked up to, Martha Fierro from Ecuador.
Yeah.
So she was a player who was so much stronger than me, and I also always thought that she was the coolest. You know, that
Yeah.
she was so
And you had a
charismatic.
beautiful win against her, right?
Yes,
In that tournament.
yes,
Yeah, it's a
exactly.
very powerful in your career have this kind of experience related to a great win.
Especially like when you have a really good time outside the tournament and then you also have a good tournament, like that's the dream. You know, that is like why we play chess in a lot of ways, because you really get to combine your like passion for living with your, you know, crushing chess moves. And it's sometimes you know, they go together and sometimes they don't. So
Yeah.
that after Brazil, I was just like so into chess. And I also started getting A's in Spanish because there is no motivation greater to learn a language than being in a dinner table and having everybody, like I remember there was like Jorge Zamora has been, there was Martha Fierro, and literally people were telling jokes and they were falling on the floor because it was so funny. And
Yeah.
it was all in Spanish. So like,
Yeah, but it's very interesting that maybe you in this opportunity you realize that how how big the chess community could be, how huge it is, and how many good experiences you can have being there. You know, like because of chess. Because I think that chess it's a very universal language, and I think that's a good way to realize that we have something in common, and starting there we can go everywhere and we can make new friends. You can have this inspiration to learn another language. You can I don't know, travel to another countries and see things that different. So for me, I have this feeling too that chess for me it was a very like turning point in my life because I was living in a small city and it was so boring living there. And then I knew chess and everything changed because it's so dynamic, the community, the friends you made. So it's very, very interesting that, and I'm so glad you have it in Brazil. So Brazil will be always in your heart, I think.
yes, abrigado.
Yeah, yeah. Well, talking about the book again, that of course we are talking about the book and these special characters that you mix your personal experience with this experience from the greatest player. And I think that you have a very beautiful approach to it because it seems for me that you are not afraid about the stereotypes people have about women playing chess. You know, like you are not afraid, like make them being very special, exceptional, you know, like they are like regular women that play chess and they play very good chess. They work hard and they like other things too. They have families. They are like real people, you know. I think that's a very interesting approach because maybe do you think that it could be a kind of model for women that read the book and, wow, this girl seems like me. Maybe I can play chess too, like inspirational, like see this woman in a point of view for another woman. That's very nice approach. And
Thank you.
yeah, and do you think that it could be for other women that read the book and be like, oh, they are normal people. They are not like Queen's Gambit. They are like, like normal people, because sometimes we are like, oh, if I have to play chess, if I want to play chess, I have to be very special. I have to be so smart. I have to be so, and you can play chess just to have fun too, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. And there's so many different levels that you can succeed at, like, yeah, you could be Judith Polgar, the best female player in history, but not everybody can really aspire to that because they don't have the lifestyle of, homeschooling and traveling the world at every opportunity to play in tournaments. So there are other goals that are also so worthy, like being a school champion or using chess to get a scholarship or being a streamer or a chess coach. And there's a variety of women in the book who kind of like pursue those paths as well. And that is really important to me. Of course, I want people to see themselves in the book, absolutely, and also to see a lot of women that they can admire and look up to.
And of course, you tell about it in the book, but I want to see you telling to our our public here. Why do you think chess could be so empowering for women?
That's a great question, and I think that women. I think chess is empowering for anyone. It can be empowering for all genders, but particularly I think women and gender minorities can get a lot out of chess because it allows you these moments of pure flow where you're so engrossed in chess that you're not thinking about anything else. And I think that that is a slightly rarer experience for women because we are taught to kind of like navigate the emotions of everybody around us, to like take care of people, to see if like somebody is upset or angry. And even from a safety lens, we need to be like more aware of our surroundings, right? Because we are more likely to get attacked. So I think that being able to play chess and forget about all that management of identity and emotions of other people is so precious for women and girls in particular. Also, the that's my number one, I'd say. But I also think that the ability to build an international network and to show people that women and girls can be good at chess is really powerful. Like it's hard when you start because there are people who doubt you and because it might be harder to get into that flow state. But if you stick with it, actually being a female can be an advantage because you can get more attention and opportunities from chess because people are so happy that you're there. Like we want more girls and women. So if you stick with it, there are going to be some annoying people who troll you. But for every annoying person that trolls you, there's going to be like 5 to 10 people who are like, well, thank God you're here. We love it that you're here.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's very nice. And I think that's a particular reality in chess because, like for men who wants to play chess, it's like, oh, I could do that. I can do that. It's okay. I will meet so many friends here. I feel comfortable. I feel confident to be here. And for a woman, it's a kind of a hard decision. Like, I like to be here. Do I like to be here? I feel comfortable here. I feel confident to be here. There are so many men here, you know. Of course, everyone has his own background about this kind of situation, but I think that for a man, there is no doubt about I can do it if I want. And for a woman, you have to make this decision considering a lot of things because it's a male dominant place. And we feel like we have this wrong perception. I think that we have to change ourselves as a woman to be there, you know? Like we can't be like a woman in this place. Like we have this social and cultural pressure. Like if you are there, you have to be so good or so smart, or you have this kind of profile, you know? And I think that's hard for women to decide to be there because we have to prove so many things, not for because they are demanding it, but we feel this social and cultural environment that it's saying to you like, why you are here? Why you're here? It's like it belongs to you. Do you think that belongs to you? So your book, it's very very interesting that way because you see that woman that can be in this place where saying like it's not about being a woman or man, it's about a game, and you can access this flow of thought, and it's beautiful and it's challenging and it's great. You can be yourself whatever you are, you know. And I think that's a very good point in your book. And you told in your book about the role models and the different views that the players have about this subject.
Yeah, yeah. The players often mentioned Judith Polgar as a role model, but like I said earlier, I feel that because she is such an anomaly in that she was raised from birth to become a chess champion, I
Yeah.
do think it's important for there to be a wider selection of role models, which is one of the points of Chess Queens to introduce people to that. And one of the characters that is very beloved is Fiona Mutesi, the chess champion from Uganda. And it's interesting, there's actually some research done recently um, by a scientist. Her name is Emma Pearson, I think. I have to double check that. But she did a study about Ugandan children watching that movie and then taking a math test. And then, of course, the control group watched some other movie and took a test. And the ones who watched the movie did way better just by virtue of seeing this
No,
story
wow.
about a great Ugandan chess champion.
No.
So I think that role models
So
are
powerful.
really important. Yeah. And a variety of them are important so that you can kind of match people's idiosyncrasies, right?
Yeah, yeah, no, it's wow, it's so I didn't know this study. It's very beautiful way to see how chess can change the perception about empowerment. Yeah, that's very nice way. Yeah. And how about the family? Because you was born in a chess family, and of course it helped. Judith, as you told, was born to be a champion like her sisters. So what do you think about this family role? Because i I realized that in your book, and I previous had this information because I was researching about it. Almost every top player was taught to play chess at home, like, and especially there is a few experience that a woman that start to play with her like a female figure like mom or
Mm-hmm.
sister,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, but in general like a father, a older brother,
Usually a
yeah,
father,
yeah,
yeah.
but it's like you have this family environment, and maybe it could be something very important in this career. What do you think about it? How do you think that family can support a woman playing chess and considering chess as a career?
Yeah, I think that definitely families do not teach chess to their girls as much as they teach it to their boys. And I think part of that might be changing, but you can't just judge on what somebody likes at first. I think that's really important. Like in my case, I didn't like mesh with chess right away. I think you need to try and then maybe try again if it doesn't work. And as for the female figure teaching, I do think it's important. It's important for women and it's important for men as well. I think to have for a man to have female coaches and female role models is really important. And that's something I talk about in my book that for women, it's like very natural to kind of like look up to men and to want to be like certain men, whereas it doesn't really happen as much the other way. It's almost like this taboo that men like think that it's emasculating or something to look up to a woman. And I think that's wrong. And that's why it's really key as we get more females into the game that they also coach. And so boys are looking up to these women from the very beginning. And I mean, I have met a lot of men whose favorite player is Judith Polgar. So, like my friend Ben Johnson, who has a famous podcast, his favorite player is Judith Polgar. So certainly, Judith is a lot of people's favorite player of any gender. But yeah, we need to keep working on that. And as for famous players who have learned chess from their mom, well, there's Vishy Anand. So he famously learned chess from his mommy.
Yeah, yeah.
And well, Gary, I don't believe he learned chess from Clara, but that was like his, his confidant, his everything. I mean, he was obviously so devastated when she passed a couple. How long has it been now? I think 1 year. I think it's been about 1 year, and such a pillar of strength for him. And actually, with Gary, when he recanted all of the things he said about how women aren't good enough to be chess players, he said in one of his interviews, he said, like, I don't know how I could have thought that because the answer was looking at me right in my face. My
Yeah, that's
mom is the strongest person I've ever met.
yeah. And it's very interesting too in your book. This you show us like these notorious players that has this idea about female tournaments, and they had changed their minds during, like, we have Kasparov, we have Sofia Polgar that changed her mind about it, and now they are very supportive to female players and female tournaments. What's your personal opinion about it? Because in the book we see that we have this change of view. And what do you think about it? How important is a female tournament for girls, for women, and to have this kind of event specifically for this gender, like gender tournaments?
I think it's really important, especially for people who are starting out. And I mean, the reason I say that is not because of any kind of like, you know, theory or philosophy. It's actually very simple. Girls seem to like them. They want to play in them. I know there's a tournament coming up in the United States called the All Girls Nationals. It's actually Kasparov Chess Foundation All Girls Nationals, and everybody loves that tournament who plays in it. I was at a couple of them. Yeah, I mean, people like them, so why would I want to take away? Like, obviously, it's good for girls, right? To play chess. It's great education, great social networking, great for their college applications. So, just the fact that girls like them so much, I think is we don't really need more information. Like, to me, that's like a conversation ender. That like, if you're wondering about the validity of girls tournaments and girls themselves are saying that they like them, well, you know, how can you
Yeah.
know better than your customer, right? But
Yeah.
I do think though at the professional level, they're still really valuable and awesome. But my only caveat would be sometimes I think there should be more creativity into mixing genders at the professional level, like with having like mixed doubles or including women in some of the events, and just kind of mixing it up a little bit because the Gibraltar tournament where they had the battle of the sexes, that was pretty cool. I think it's just so easy to just do the same thing all the time, which is to like have the top women players play each other. You see that also. Listen, I want more creativity in chess in general. Like I,
Yeah.
I, I feel like just always inviting like the top 10, whether it's men or women, because chess is so popular now. It's an idea that if too many people do it, then it becomes a little dull. So I think it's just like so important to like see what's out there and see if maybe you can add something new to the conversation. Because one of the great things about chess is that the media just loves the fact that women and men can play together,
Yeah.
unlike a lot of other sports. Although honestly, probably other sports could do more of that too. I mean, I'm just not an expert in those fields. But
Yeah.
I know that a lot of sports that do have the mixed doubles competitions, like tennis and curling, usually people speak very highly of those types of events.
Yeah, yeah. Actually, it's more about like the chess supposed to be a mixed gender by like the sense of chess is a mixed gender, but when you have this social and cultural environment, so we have to pay attention to other things that can encourage or disencourage girls to be there, especially girls. But of course, for professional level, I think if they say, for example, oh, the woman's rating is low comparing to the top players, but did they have the same invitations to be in the strongest tournaments as the guys have? Like that's the question. You have to understand, like the top level player is like the structure is of the tournament. So it's very nice to have this woman invited to be in this mixed gender tournaments in elite level. And of course, it's not about the girls tournament, like the girls play together because they play worse. Well, it's not about it. And I think that's so unfair and a kind of cruel to think that we are doing that because they are inferior, how can you do that? Like you will play together because you are worse than us. Like not make any sense, like it's a very bad view about it, like to didn't understand. We can understand, people didn't understand why we do that, and I think that's very important. You now are like you girls, I don't know the name, US director for woman players. I don't know what is
Yes.
the position you have in the US Federation.
Yeah, I'm the women's program director. So I do a lot of like classes and events for girls and women. Yeah, it's a lot of fun. I've had a great time with it. Especially during the pandemic, we had so many classes and it was just so fun to get to know everyone. Earlier in your chat, I saw that we had a girl from one of my programs in Kenya. I don't know if she's still there, but Jay Rant said, I came across a training club on chess.com that Jennifer is involved with, the one for the young ladies from East Africa and the United States. That's right. So that's one of the programs I do where girls from Kenya and Uganda were meeting up with girls from the United States. And we actually have one event like that tomorrow. And I also see that Gabrielle says that it's a great pleasure to see you here. Hi, Gabrielle.
Yeah, she's a great player. She's a national master in Brazil with 18.
18
Yeah, she's
females who are
18.
national masters.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah, yeah.
And who's the number one player, female player in Brazil now?
Now we have two big players that they are like fighting for the first place. But recently, in the last list, we have Julia Alboredo. That she is like an international woman international master, and she achieved the highest rating in Brazil. And the second one that's so close, that's feed master Juliana Teral. They are, and we have the third one. That's the Olympic team, Brazilian Olympic team. And the third one is international woman, a woman international master too, Katia Librerato. Yeah, they are the top three in Brazil now, but they are very, very strong. And Julia, she is also a streamer, and she just get one WGM norm in a tour in Europe. So we have a faith that maybe we can get the first WGM, Brazilian WGM in the next years, because we don't have any here.
Wow. Yeah, you got to change that. You can do, I bet you it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, it seems like you definitely have the talent and the interest potentially is rising.
Yeah.
So Yeah, I would
Yeah,
certainly.
it's what one of my questions is that because as in Brazil, as in US in Brazil, chess is not the most popular sport. Of course, there are a lot of help about Queen's Gambit and I don't know, the online chess that it's more entertaining for people to know how it works, but it's not a very the very popular sport. And when we are talking about competitive chess, it's about a sport and all what it means, you know, structure, sponsoring, and all these things. So, what you and US Federation are doing to improve these opportunities for chess as a sport for girls and women?
Oh, we're doing a lot. One of the things we do is we have like grant programs where smaller organizations and schools can apply to have money, where they can use the money to encourage girls and women in chess. And then we also have a lot of programs where we'll have like a girls' chess room. This is one that's cool that you can encourage organizers to do. Where suppose there's a tournament that's mostly men, but you have a special little area for girls and women, where they can analyze their games and make friends, and maybe you can have like a special guest come to analyze their games between rounds. Very, very popular and really useful because it gives a space for girls to meet each other, but it also promotes inclusive play. So they're still playing against all genders, which could be really good training for them, just to play everyone, because there's not that many women's tournaments sometimes. So you need to play in those open events to continue to grow. But they also get the advantage of playing and studying with their girlfriends and maybe meeting some friends to go to other tournaments with. So I highly recommend that if you don't have anything like that already. And the organizers should welcome it. Like, there's no reason for them not to want that.
Yeah. Now I think that in Brazil, the main sponsors are like getting advantage of the online chess. Like we have this chess.com grow a lot in Brazil. During the pandemic, it was like a boom. So it's very nice to see how online chess can help the real chess like be more popular. And do you think that online chess could be also a good strategy to achieve this popularization of chess between among women?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I think online chess is really good for women because they're able to get better without having people look at them. It allows that anonymity, which I think can be really useful because chess is hard. And, being a beginner and actually having to go to a tournament, especially as a woman, you could have a lot of people trying to help you, but it could be in a way where you really want to be left alone. And when you're online, you can be left alone. Well, unfortunately, there's a lot of abuse online, but if you want to, you can, be anonymous, right?
Yeah.
Not that anybody should have to be anonymous. I'm not saying that. Like, if you want to be yourself
If
and
you want
you're,
to, you can do it. Yeah.
yeah, and if you're abused, it's still totally out of line. But at least there's the option online to, opt out. Whereas in person, you can't even opt out. And
Yeah.
like I said, I think it's the hardest when you're starting out because when a woman player gets stronger, there's usually a lot of people around who are excited that she's there and they might, protect her a little bit. I think the harder part is like just getting in the door when you don't have any friends yet. You don't have any of like the good guys or the good gals who are like kind of supporting you and you're just new. And then you're really vulnerable because what if the first person you meet is a bad egg? Yeah. So it's good to kind of be able to like feel things out a little bit before you jump into the live arena. And I play poker also, and I feel exactly the same way about poker. It's like when you play online, you're able to prepare yourself for the live arena where things are even more intense. I have a question for you, by the way. There was an
Wow.
article that went viral in the United States about a month ago about a Brazilian player,
Ah,
Sibeli da
yeah.
Silva.
Sibeli
Yeah.
Florencio. Yeah.
Sibeli Florencia. Beautiful
Yeah,
name.
it's
Yeah.
a amazing story because she did you read the Washington Post interview?
Yeah, so I read the article about Sibeli Florencia, who became a chess champion while also working many, many hours as a maid. And it was an inspiring story about how she was able to
Yeah,
start traveling
yeah,
via her
yeah.
passion. And that's something you see like in chess quite a lot, that people who are talented but don't have a lot of money are able to use like a chess as a vehicle to,
Change their
have a
lives.
better
Yeah,
life.
yeah, yeah. For her, for sure, that was the case because she is from we. Like U.S., we have Brazil is a huge country, so we have many different like chess environments here. In the north of Brazil, of course, chess is not so popular as it is in the south, for example. And she is from there. Starting from this, it's like it's amazing what she did. But actually, she is. I think she's not anymore a maid. I'm not sure, but she worked a lot as a maid, and she started to play chess in a school program. And then we have this tournament there that was like a Brazilian championship blitz and rapid games. And it was in her city. That's the importance to have this, like tournaments all over the country because for her, for example, I think, and for other many girls, it will be almost impossible to travel to, I don't know, Rio or Sao Paulo to play a tournament. So it was very nice that the tournament was there. So she played and she qualified for the world champion, the world blitz and rap championship, and there was this huge movement to help her and the other girl because she was second. The champion and the co-champion went together to Poland to play the championship, and it completely changed her life because now she has sponsors. She is giving a lot of interviews for different kind of people. It's not about like only people related to chess. It's about her story and how chess changed her life. Like chess, it was the tool for this transformation, and of course people are very interested to know how accessible chess could be. It's very surprising because nobody here in the Philippines, we have a very interesting case because Philippines is a very poor country, but a lot of people play chess. And it was very, for me, it was why there are so many people, because it's one of the most, I don't know, the cheaper sport you can do here. We don't need courts, we don't have so many materials, we don't need uniform, you don't need. So what they do, they construct their own pieces. you know each Sunday we have in the news like a section for chess, and everybody like share this information about chess, and you can see a lot of people playing chess because it's an indoor activity. Don't need so much money to play chess. If you don't have like pieces and board, you can improvise. you know and that's a very beautiful way to see how chess could be so powerful. And her story is very, very nice, and I think for her it's more a completely like turning point too, for her, and she plays very well. That's that's the thing. I can imagine how could she stud with this hard working all the day and studying chess and be able to get these results.
It's amazing. Well, maybe
Yeah,
she'll be a women's grandmaster as well. Sibeli, I see a lot of people in your chat talking about how amazing she is. That's awesome.
yeah, yeah, it's
Yeah, I
very
can't wait to hear
nice.
more and follow her career.
Yeah, she's very nice. If you want, I can try to connect to you both.
Yeah,
So
please do. I could send her a copy of Chess Queens. Absolutely.
yeah, that's very nice. So, your book is on sale in Brazil. I told you that for us in Amazon.com, if you put like in our chat, the I put here for people know know about our shop. Yeah,
So how's it
here.
work? Amazon Brazil,
Yeah,
you
you can
say,
access all your books here if you want to buy that by demand because it's an international buy. So, but you can have the book in one click with the ebook version. And I hope you can translate it in Spanish because for many Brazilians it will be much easier. It's not, of course, it will be in Portuguese would be like the most, but I know that Portuguese is not so, like the priority language to translate anything. So I
although who
understand. Spanish
knows?
is good for us. All materials we have in chess, that's few materials in Portuguese, but we use a lot. I use a lot of Spanish editions from chess books, so it's a great way to access your book. That's a very good book, and
Thank you.
I really appreciate your participation in my channel. And I let you free to I don't know say that final message for Brazilian girls, for a Brazilian woman that wants to play chess and want to play poker too, maybe. And because you are ambassador too about Poker Stars, yeah?
Well, yeah, I think that what I see is that chess is growing in Brazil. So I think there's a lot of opportunities for women and girls. So what I would say is if you find a good community of people who can help you and who you can travel to events with, it could just be a great way to enhance your life because like I said earlier, yeah, there's some bad actors who don't like women and don't want us to be successful, but there's also a lot of people who see it as a great blessing for there to be more women in the game. So when there's growth, there's opportunity, right? And right now, I feel like there's a lot of opportunity for women and girls. So that's my selling point. Not just, well, the game is awesome too. The game is really fun and you'll meet a lot of great people, but you also might have even more opportunities than usual because of the growth that's happening right now in chess globally.
Yeah, and we must be more creative to see these opportunities and try new things. And I think your book could be very powerful and inspire so many women to think about it. So thank you so much for your participation. I hope you enjoyed to be with me too. That's a Brazilian connection that I think it's in your heart too.
It is. I hope you come back sometime. I would
Yeah,
love
for
to visit
sure.
again one day.
Yeah,
I
you
had
can arrange like maybe a mix event with chess and poker because the poker community in
very
Brazil
big.
it's very yeah, and we have a lot of chess players playing poker. Yeah, in
Yeah,
Brazil.
I would love to come back. What do you think the best place to go is in Brazil? You know,
Well, it depends. To like, I think that the if you want to like to know the most popular places in Brazil, you have to go to Rio. Like Rio, it's a good and maybe São Paulo. That's other point of view because it's not a beach city, and we have this like a kind of our New York City. Like it's a kind of so urban and so different from Rio. That's completely different vibes. And maybe a place in the north of Brazil because it's so different too. Maybe it could be like Bahia, I don't know, or maybe Belém. That's a very nice place to know too. The Amazon. Uh,
oh, that sounds amazing.
yeah.
Wow. I would love that. Amazing. Amazon. Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Very funny.
Belém, it's a very nice city to know. That's a beautiful city, and there is a good chess community there. So it's very nice. That's the opportunity that chess gave us, like go to places that maybe you didn't realize you will be there some, and because of chess you know these places, and that's very nice. I hope we can arrange that, maybe a visit in Brazil to have this second moment with us.
Yeah, who knows what will happen next time I go to Brazil, right? I mean, it changed me so much the first time. So, absolutely. And I had a great time. Thank you so much for inviting me. You
Thank you
were
so much.
so generous with your questions, and I really appreciate it. And yes, I hope I get that book in Spanish so it's even easier for everybody in South America to read.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
very motivated, and I will definitely get you one of the first copies if that happens.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Well, we will finish here. I appreciate all our comments here. We have many invitations for you coming to Brazil. And I really appreciate all the questions. As I told you, it will be available later with subtitles. So it will be easier for anyone to knows what we're talking about. Thank you so much, Jennifer. Have a good night in your place.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank.
Kisses. Obrigado. Loved it. Bye. Ciao,
Bye
ciao.
bye.